The silence of the high Rockies is shattered. A predator has ascended beyond its usual domain. Here, a massive grizzly bear, driven by a hunger that burns like fire in its gut, has targeted a mountain goat. This is a clash of two biological masterpieces, one built for brute force, the other for impossible agility. The bear is a tank, 600 pounds of muscle, bone, and fury. It moves with a terrifying speed that belies its bulk, tearing up the alpine turf, its claws acting as crampons on the softer soil. But the terrain is changing. We are leaving the meadows and entering the kill zone, the sheer granite faces where the mountain sheds its skin. The goat knows this. It does not panic, it calculates.
Let's follow him.
Watch the goat's movement. It isn't running, it is levitating. It bounds toward a vertical chimney of rock that seems insurmountable. To the bear, this wall is a dead end. To the goat, it is a ladder. The bear lunges, its massive paws scrabbling against the slate. Stone crumbles, dust rises. The bear roars, a sound of frustration and raw power that echoes off the canyon walls. But brute strength has a limit. The bear attempts to follow, hauling its weight up the first ledge. But look at the physics. The bear's center of gravity is too low, its mass too great, it slips. For a heart-stopping second, the predator slides backward, claws screeching against the stone like nails on a chalkboard. It scrambles, terrified of the fall, finally finding purchase on a wider shelf. It looks up. 30 feet above, the mountain goat stands motionless. It peers down, almost impassively. The goat has utilized the terrain as a weapon. It has led the monster into a trap of geometry. The goat's hooves, with their rough, sandpaper-like pads, have gripped microscopic ridges that the bear cannot even feel. In this high-stakes game of tag, the goat has proven a timeless truth of the mountains. Agility and an intimate understanding of the landscape will always outweigh raw, unthinking force. The bear turns back, defeated by the cliff itself, leaving the white ghost to vanish into the clouds. But escaping a predator is only 1 minute of a life that lasts years. How does one survive the mountain when nothing is chasing you? The answer lies in memory. Here we see the matriarch. She is not just a mother, she is a living map. She leads her young across a ridge that looks like the spine of a sleeping dragon. To the untrained eye, this is just a walk, but look closer. The path she chooses is specific. She avoids the dark patches of shale that shift underfoot. She steps over the fissures where winter ice still lurks, hidden and deadly. She is accessing a library of ancestral knowledge. This route wasn't discovered by her alone. It was carved into her genetic memory by generations of ancestors who lived and died, learning these trails. The kid follows, stepping exactly where she steps. This is the classroom of the wild. The young goat is learning the rhythm of the climb. It learns that the wind hits harder on the windward side of the ridge, capable of blowing a 60-pound animal into the abyss. It learns that silence is safety. Their journey across this unforgiving stone is a testament to the unseen tether between parent and child. In a world where a single misstep results in a 1,000-foot fall, obedience is not about discipline. It is about survival. The mother stops, ears swiveling. She senses the vibrations of the rock, the shift in air pressure. She is teaching her young to read the mountain as if it were a book written in stone and wind. Gravity is not the only enemy. As the herd descends to lower altitudes for grazing, they encounter a force as relentless as the cliff, the river. The glacial melt is at its peak. The water is freezing, opaque with silt, and moving with the force of a freight train. The herd must cross to reach the fresh grazing grounds on the southern bank. The adults plunge in. They are heavy, strong swimmers. But then it is the kid's turn. The young goat hesitates. The noise is terrifying. Following the instinct to stay with the herd, it leaps. Disaster. The kid slips on a wet, moss-covered stone. In an instant, the current seizes it. The small body is tossed like a rag doll, tumbling over submerged boulders. The water is cold enough to stop a heart. Panic sets in. We can see the whites of its eyes, the desperate thrashing of hooves against the water. On the bank, the mother watches. She does not dive in. This is the hardest moment to watch. Why doesn't she save him? Because in the wild, she cannot. If she enters that torrent, both might die. She stands silent, a statue of maternal anxiety, waiting. The kid is being swept downstream toward the rapids. Instinct kicks in an ancient drive to live. It stops fighting the current and starts angling across it. It claws at the slippery riverbed. Its lungs are burning, filled with spray. Finally, a hoof catches a root, then another. Shivering, coughing, the young goat drags itself onto the mud. It looks up. The mother is there. She nuzzles it briefly, checking for injury. There is no coddling. The lesson has been taught by the river itself. Endurance is not given. It is forged in cold water and fear. The kid stands up, shakes off the water, and follows. It is stronger now. We travel now to the roof of the world, the Hindu Kush. Here, the terrain is even more hostile, and the inhabitants are the royalty of the goat world, the Markhor. Look at them. They are creatures of myth with horns that spiral like corkscrews toward the heavens, reaching over 5 feet in length. But these horns are not for show. They are weapons of war. It is the rutting season. Testosterone floods the blood of these two males. They are fighting for more than just a mate. They are fighting for immortality. The winner passes on his genes. The loser fades into history. They stand on a ledge barely wide enough for a human foot. The drop below is absolute. They lock eyes. They rear up on hind legs, a display of balance that defies logic, and then they crash. The impact shakes their skulls. The sound echoes like a gunshot across the valley. They lock horns, twisting, torquing their massive necks. This is not a brawl. It is a wrestling match on a tightrope. Each male tries to unbalance the other, to twist the opponent's head so that he loses his footing. Consider the risk. If one pushes too hard, both could topple. If one slips, he pulls the other down with him. It is a high-stakes combat blending immense strength, technical precision, and the constant, looming presence of the abyss. They are dancing on the edge of their own graves. Above the dust and the violence, the females watch.
High above the
they are
valley
perched
floor,
on the safer,
a mother
higher
stands
cliffs,
vigilant.
observing the
Below,
spectacle
her
with a
kid
critical
faces
eye.
the churning rapids of the river.
To us, it looks like chaos. To them, it is a job interview. They are not looking for the biggest horns. They are looking for the most persistent spirit. Debris scatters beneath the battling males, rocks kicking out into the void, but the females do not flinch. They know that dominance isn't decided by a single blow. Any fool can hit hard once. The true king of the mountain is the one who can endure the exhaustion, the bruising, and the altitude for hours. It is a contest of will. The fight below slows down. Chests are heaving. Froth drips from their mouths. Yet they lock again. The females note this. They need a sire who possesses this unyielding grit, for their offspring will need that same grit to survive the winter. The female's choice is the filter of evolution. She ensures that weakness is weeded out before it can even be born. From the arid heights of the Hindu Kush, we fly to the frozen cathedrals of the Alps. Here, the enemy is not just gravity, it is the cold. It is deep winter. Temperatures plummet to 20 degrees below zero. The wind chill strips heat from the body in seconds. Most life has fled to the valleys or gone into hibernation, but the alpine ibex remains. Look at this creature. It is a tank built for the tundra. Its coat is thick, oily, and dense, trapping a layer of warm air against the skin. But it is the legs that are the marvel. Short, powerful, packed with slow-twitch muscle fibers designed for endurance rather than sprinting. Their social structure is rigid, a hierarchy that keeps order when chaos reigns in the weather. They move slowly to conserve energy. Every calorie is counted. In this frozen wasteland, to sweat is to die. To panic is to die. They are masters of metabolic discipline, surviving on dry, frozen lichen and the bark of ancient pines. They endure where even the bravest alpinists would perish. How do they do it? How do they scale walls that are practically vertical? The secret lies in their feet. Evolution has spent millions of years engineering the perfect climbing shoe, and it attached it to the ibex. Look closely at the hoof. It is cloven, split in two. This allows the two toes to move independently, clamping onto ridges of rock like pincers. But the real magic is on the bottom. The outer rim of the hoof is hard as bone, sharp enough to cut into ice and hard dirt. Inside this rim is a soft, rubbery pad, almost like the sole of a climbing shoe. When the Ibex puts its weight down, the pad deforms, molding itself over the imperfections of the rock, creating friction where there should be none. They are scaling a dam wall now to lick the salt from the stones. It is a 90-degree face. A human would need ropes, harnesses, and carabiners. The Ibex needs only its anatomy. Every ascent is a display of bioengineering mastery, part physics, part instinct. They are defying gravity not by magic, but by the absolute perfection of their design. Confidence is key, but arrogance is fatal. Even for the masters, the mountain is treacherous. The Ibex moves with dancer-like precision, but the stage they dance on is rotted. Shale slides away unexpectedly. Hidden patches of verglas, clear black ice coat the rocks. And the greatest terror of all, the avalanche. Watch as the herd traverses a snowfield. A sound like a cracking whip echoes. The snow above releases. A white tidal wave begins to descend. The Ibex do not outrun it. They cannot. Instead, they seek the lines of safety, ridges that split the snow, rock overhangs that provide shelter. They move with an explosive agility, leaping across chasms to reach high ground. We see one Ibex land on a ledge that crumbles. It scrabbles, legs kicking wildly. It recovers in a millisecond, finding a new foothold. This is the daily reality. There is no safety net. They live their entire lives on the fine line between a successful maneuver and a catastrophic fall. Their calm demeanor is not a lack of fear. It is the control of fear. As the danger passes, we focus on the symbol of their power, the horns. Unlike deer antlers, which are shed every year, the Ibex's horns are permanent. They grow throughout the animal's life. Look at the ridges on the horn. Like the rings of a tree, they tell a story. Each ridge marks a year of survival, a winter endured, a famine survived. A male with great, sweeping horns is a walking history book of the mountain. These horns serve a vital purpose beyond display. We see two males engage. This is different from the violent clash of the Markhor. This is more ritualized. They lock horns and push. It is a shoving match, a test of weight and leverage.
whiteout.
These quiet confrontations determine the pecking order without the need for bloodshed. In a hostile environment, getting injured is a death sentence. You cannot afford a broken leg or a gouged eye when you live on a cliff. So, they have evolved a way to settle disputes that maintains the peace. The stronger male asserts his dominance, the weaker accepts it, and the herd remains intact. It is a civilized politics of strength. The blue sky vanishes. The mountains are swallowed by a blizzard. Visibility drops to zero. The wind howls like a banshee, carrying ice crystals that sting like needles. Where do they go? The Ibex retreat. They know the geology of their home better than any map. They find caves, rocky overhangs, and lee-side cliffs where the wind is broken. Here we see a tender scene. The mothers position themselves against the wind, using their bodies as shields for their young. The herd huddles together. They share body warmth, creating a collective furnace in the freezing dark. Breathing is difficult here. The air is thin, oxygen is scarce. To survive the storm, they lower their heart rates. They enter a state of waking stasis. They wait. It is a test of patience. Outside, the world is ending. Inside the huddle, life persists. Survival at this altitude is a daily negotiation with the elements, and tonight the Ibex are winning. Morning comes, the storm breaks. The sun hits the peaks, illuminating the world above 3,000 meters, and there they stand. The Ibex return to the cliff edges, silhouetted against the burning sun. They are statues of resilience. They are the emblems of the high world. Every muscle twitch, every breath of thin air, every precise placement of a hoof is a defiance of the odds. They do not just live in the mountains. They are the mountains, alive and breathing. They embody the absolute harmony between grace and survival. They remind us that life, no matter how harsh the conditions, finds a way not just to endure, but to thrive.
The Ibex, master of the vertical world, navigates the treacherous Swiss Alps with incredible precision.
From the gripping claws of the bear to the icy solitude of the Alps, we have witnessed the relentless drama of the high peaks. It is a story written in adrenaline and blood, played out on a stage where the floor is always falling away. But what can we, in our comfortable lives, learn from the goat, the Markhor, and the Ibex? I have a question for you. If you were standing on that ledge, staring down a predator with nowhere to go but up, would you trust your strength or would you trust your mind? What is the mountain you are currently climbing in your own life? Let me know in the comments below. I read every story you share. If this journey into the wild moved you, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Join our pack. We have many more stories to tell, and we don't want you to miss the next adventure.
Truly spectacular view, isn't it?
It is absolutely breathtaking.